Howdy folks. Today we have a low elo game between Kate in the blue, who is playing as Byzantines, and Ed in the red, who is playing as the Burgundians, one of the new civilizations. Now Ed is roughly around 600, 700-ish elo, whereas Kate is still in the middle of their placement games. For this particular video, we're going to watch from Kate's perspective. So right off you can see we've got one house. The scout didn't go the sheep. We've got these villagers on sheep. This is a little messy. You're going to want to build two houses right off the bat, and the reason for that being that you don't want to have to take villagers off of something else that they're doing later on to build another house. Having those two houses right immediately means that you can get a decent number of villagers up before you have to worry about houses again. We see multiple sheep here. That might have almost been an accident. But shift clicking, moving your sheep out from under the TC can also help a little bit. You see they're all under there. As soon as this one goes, these two might split. Grab this, and then you can see housed. And now you have to take a villager off to build another house. During that time, if you have this happen to you, what you should do, immediately stop creating both these units and research loom. Because you want to keep that town center going at all times, and if you're housed, you can still research loom, and you're not waiting on that house to build the next villagers, because you got to get loom anyway at some point. If that happens to you multiple times in the Dark Age, well, you know, that's kind of a bummer, and there's not much you can do about it. This is a lot on sheep, and you can see they're not allowed out, and that one goes down. They're not able to get all around that sheep. And when they do, this sheep is probably going to go down too. And there it goes. They will move on to another sheep. This is 10 on sheep, 2 on wood. Now we see going to mill. This could be one tile closer, but it's not super bad to have it not flush up against the berries. Hopefully, we got a bunch of idols here, and they're all going to berries. There's a boar. Here's your other boar. You could, okay, drawing the boar to the mill is not the worst, because your villagers can drop off here, and this is actually pretty close. We got another house, because housed again. Again, you could, well, luckily, not actually that far behind your opponent here, because they also are not making villagers that quickly. Seem to have some idle time themselves. This, you don't want this to happen. You have 300 food. You know what? You know you're going to need at least 4 more villagers. Just queue up 4 vills. Or you could go to feudal age. That is also a thing you could do. This is a little bit early of a pop to go feudal age. As I've said in a couple other videos, the reason you don't necessarily want to do this is because when you get up, you want to take advantage of new technologies. You want to be building units for raids. You want to be doing various other things. And as we're going back to berries now, the boars are gone. And going up on 15 means you're just going to be short a lot of resources. Now I want to point out here, you've seen this stone, you've seen these berries, and you've seen this stone, and that means their base. You just missed it. You went in a V right here, and you just missed it. It's right here, I guarantee you. There it is. Everything just kind of stuck in here. And now the scout is coming back. Okay, we're in feudal. What do? We research wheelbarrow. No, that is not the right thing to do. You need to be building villagers. You are already behind your opponent by 5 vills. Nice save. The scout there. You're already behind your opponent. Wheelbarrow will help you. It is a good economic tech. You don't want that right now. You want to be getting vills, because vills are going to be more helpful for you at this stage in the game. But creating villagers is good. Opponent doing 20 pop-up. This is better if they're going scouts, which is something they certainly can do. This wall is a little greedy. I honestly would wall to here maybe, and then from here to here. The reason is this is a large space to protect, but at least you'll have villagers here that can house wall quickly behind it. You'll have villagers here. If your enemy comes in and starts attacking this wall here, see housed again, there's not going to be a lot you can do. You won't get a villager out here, because even if they're on stone, you know, they have to walk all the way. Even here, and you can see this single palisade here. If you put something here, unless you TC here, this can take them forever to get over. Okay, but the villager count is kind of settled a little bit. Building some extra houses ahead of time, that's good. Getting the wall up. Going to mill the deer. And the reason I believe is that this player wants to go up very quickly. You can see that now they know that hunt is faster than farming, and that is probably true. So they're just going to try to get that last bit of food out of these deer. This could be a little bit more balanced. You usually wanted to use 3 villagers to take deer. So one of these can move over here. It's not the biggest deal because I think it averages out anyway. Getting this walled up, and they're actually fully walled at this point, which is not too bad. If your opponent was doing a 20 pop scout rush, which doesn't look like they are, they would be in your base by now. Especially because you have this hole in here. You're even. Just keep up the production. You can see the opponent's still making bills. And when these deer are gone, I'm not totally sure what they're going to do. Because at this point, you don't have enough wood, really, to make a lot of farms. I don't think they have any eco upgrades either. So, yeah, these villagers... I guess you'd have to send a lot on the wood. And, no eco upgrades on the farms. Especially if you're trying to build this many farms, it might be nice to get that first. It's not that expensive. But up to castle age, which is actually for this low elo is not too bad of a fast castle time. Now the question you have to ask at this point is, I guess 2 things. One, what is your opponent doing? And having this scout just kind of sniffing around here, you want to see, oh, okay, are there archery ranges? Are there stables? What is the plan here? What is my opponent going to hit me with? Are they just booming? And the other is, what are you going to hit them with? Because you're going to be up to castle significantly before them, probably. You see, they haven't even clicked up. This is a difficult strat to pull off in Arabia because it's so open. But if you can pull off fast castle, you will have a tech advantage. Are you going to go for knights? What are you going to do? You have to do something with this because otherwise there wasn't really much of a point in going to castle age if you weren't going to make use of the technologies. So let's see what happens. I don't see anything being built. Literally, oh, castle. We're building a castle. Okay, so this is defensive, I guess. Which your opponent has not attacked you at all. So I don't know if this is really warranted. I would have honestly had less people on stone, more people on gold, more people on food, and just built a bunch of knights because I bet they're still open in some way, or you could get through really easily. Also, building a castle with 1 villager, it's going to take a while. Okay, we're building an archery range. Now we have the triad. Barracks, stable, archery range. As you're in castle, one other strategy you could go here is Byzantines is trash rush. And that's just... gold will run out eventually, stone will run out eventually. And so what you could do is you could just build a ton of skirmishers, a ton of scouts, a ton of pikes, but you need a lot more buildings for that. And Byzantines get those cheaper, which is why it's a little more viable for them. You also need a much bigger economy. If I was going for that, I would be on 3 TCs right now. But we still see 1. Opponent is up to castle age now. Oh, nice. They're using the Burgundian special ability to get that Imperial Age tech in Castle Age. They're still building out 1 TC, but that's probably going to change. Oh, now you see 2 TCs. They will be going much faster. So in this case, you have 2 options. You can either, because you're in the castle first, now that advantage is kind of gone away, but you build multiple TCs and you start booming, trying to outboom them, and that really lends itself more to a defensive approach like what is happening with these stone walls here. This player is turtling. They don't want people to get to them. So building a lot more TCs, going up to 120, 130 villagers is probably a good play. Or if you're staying on 1 TC, you got to use that additional resources to go forward because your opponent is going to outboom you. And you can see now they're on 3 town centers. I would say I do like the relics here. You can see there's a couple others here on the map that don't look like they're even being claimed. You had 2 inside your base, that was good. So yeah, those are really great because the gold will run out eventually, especially if you're trying to do this arena style play here. Alright, you see a little bit, yeah, you can see 3 town center, and this is a good place to put them, is here. This might still be open, but I kind of doubt it. Oh, going out for these relics too. And you can see 4 town centers. This is a really... You can punish this. And you can see now your opponent's has 1 military. They're not making military. They are getting every single blacksmith upgrade, which is better than getting none of them, I guess, which is... Yeah, we have no blacksmith upgrades here. So this 4 TCs, this means they are heavy on eco. And if you've gone 1 TC and you've gone heavy into military, you can punish that very easily. And that's honestly what I would do in this case. You know you're going to be behind in villagers, and we see it's almost half the vill count at this point, but you should be able to have tons of military up and just sweep into this base, kill a ton of villagers. You know, you focused your economy a little bit more, a little bit heavier onto wood and gold, or sorry, food and gold, and got more cataphracts. Oh, we see an upgrade in, nice. Cataphracts are really good at raiding, especially if you get logistic on them and they do trample damage. At some point they went up to imp and I didn't even see that. Wow, blind caster here. Building a 3rd castle. This is just a full line of defense here, and the problem with that is your opponent is now going up to imp 2, and there are multiple things in Imperial Age that can take down castles. Okay, we have more town centers. You want to keep both of these working. See, again, opponent is 35 villagers ahead. They are also not producing from all their town centers because they have 4 at this point. And you see none of those producing, so that's not super great for them. But they still have way more villagers. They are getting all the upgrades. And the problem with this is you have this gold, you have this gold, you have this gold, and you have no map control. You don't know what's going on here. Likely they're taking this gold because there's a TC there. You know these ones are probably being taken because that's actually their golds. And this one is the other neutral gold, which they have. It's completely uncontested. In fact, oh no, they haven't gone to either yet. Okay. But the point is, like, if you're any other civ other than Byzantines, really, you're kind of screwed in this position. You got to hope this gold gives you enough army to go forward, which right now it totally would. But as Byzantines, you also have the trash rush. The thing is, Byzantine trash rush needs a lot more production buildings because your units are going to be dying very quickly. You need to stream them out. You need to be produced. You need to have a queue of 100 units, basically, and have the eco to back it up. And neither is true here. We are getting a 2nd barracks in though. Siege workshop, bombard cannons. Okay, we got a random spearman here, a monk, a couple swords. Well, now you know there's a castle there. That's a good idea, though. Get that scout. Get them scouting around the map. Just kind of check this out. Check out this gold. Check out this gold. You could probably take this relic. These disappear if the enemy picks them up, even if they're in fog of war. But now your enemy has paladins. Of course, you don't know this. But cataphracts, elite cataphracts with logistica, doing that trample damage, they actually do pretty well against paladins because they do splash damage around them. And they also don't take a lot of damage from the pike line or from camels because that's kind of their secret little bonus. So in this case, what I would be doing is you have three castles. Just start cranking out those cataphracts. You've got so much gold right now. Start cranking them out, and it does look like some of them are being produced. Crank them out, do some raids like this. This is perfect. These more blacksmith upgrades would be nice. I would say maybe even like 20 of these because you don't know what you're gonna find down here. You got town center. You see, this is eating them up pretty fast. A little extra health from elite would be really useful here. And this is almost an AI army at this point. You've got pikes, you've got arbs, you've got champions, you've got cataphracts, you've got bombard cannons. And this isn't too bad, especially if there's nothing down here. The problem is there is stuff down here. There's actually quite a few things here. See, and these flags tell you there are units in here. That's a little scary. Your opponent's been building military all of a sudden. They are ahead of you. They are building military. They are building spears, which is not going to be very effective. You know, you got bomber cannons. These are actually a pretty decent idea, because Trebs, you know, they have to pack, they have to unpack, they're... Oh no. Now, see, here's the problem. This many Paladins pretty much wrecks everything here. You don't have the armor upgrades, you don't have... well, I guess you don't get the last attack upgrade as Byzantines, but these Paladins and these Pikes are going to destroy everything here, because they're just so strong, and they're fully upgraded too. I mean, they're moving kind of slowly because they're attached to Halbs or Pikes here. But yeah, they should pretty much clear all of this. And you're losing a ton of gold here, and gold is not something you have a lot of. Those bombard cannons are extraordinarily expensive. And this whole army was very expensive. You got archers. Archers aren't really going to do anything against this. Hand cannoneers might, but you need more of them because there's a lot of armor here. You can see that's, yeah, this is all just wrecked. And what do you do from here? You know there's paladins out. You just go halbs. You get very cheap halbs. You can see they're investing rather heavily in that direction. You got these. You saw they had archers. You go into skirmishers. At this ELO level, it will work. No one really can handle the biz trash spam at this low ELO level. But you have to get all the blacksmith upgrades, and you have to have tons of production buildings and much more eco. Like you want 60, 70 farmers and maybe 30 woodcutters with all the eco upgrades, which I'm pretty sure, yeah, you want to get these, you want to get these for that. The economy here is just not in very good shape. And now, your opponent outnumbers you 4-1. You don't have any way of knowing that, but you look at the score here, and this score does not look good. They're here. You know they've got a base here. You need to scout around a little bit and see what else they have. You can see, and this is actually something, I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, but the players can't actually see this. They can see these golds are being taken, and these golds are being taken. This gold is also being taken, so you can see that there must be a camp here. Kind of like the relics. Those things just update. Alright, rebuilding the cataphracts. You got elite now. Elite is good. Get that next armor update and get 30 or 40 of them on the field, and they will shred everything. As they don't take additional damage from the main counters of cavalry. You don't have a lot of gold left. There's maybe about 1,000 there. There's another 800 there. So you got about maybe 3,000 gold to work with. You need to put that towards something that gets you. Yeah, this is a bad idea. You cannot, at this point, your enemy has so much control over the map that you cannot just go forward and take a camp like this. You need to be scouting it. You need to make sure they have nothing there. It's kind of an odd stable. Oh, there's a lot of them. See, this is what you need. You need a ton of production buildings like this. But look at these cataphracts, and I believe he's left Logistica at this point. That was research, and halbs. Your enemy's going to halbs. Halbs do nothing against this. Their main thing is they have a ton of bonus damage against cavalry, but cataphracts ignore that. So you said that those just ate up their army, and they'll even probably trade pretty well against these paladins. Maybe not the what was that, Castilier? Because of that charge attack, but after the charge attack you can see they have enough health to tank the charge attack, and then once they take that, then it's relatively easy to just take them down because they don't have a lot of attack after that. But instead we have 5 pikes, we have 5 champions, we have 18 arbalists, we have hand cannoneers. We also have heavy camo. Having a couple of units is good, a couple of unit types rather. You don't want to diversify this much. Most of what you can do, most of what your enemy can throw at you can be dealt with in 2 or 3 different unit types. So I would go maybe arbalist and halberdier. You know, that would work well. Or go the cataphracts and halberdier, or cataphracts and skirmisher. You know, that's what I would really go for here. Instead, you've got this really diverse group of units, which is good, but they all have different strengths and weaknesses, and it's... Yeah, you do have a ton of army, though. And this should be good. Speed this up a little bit more. Alright. So you're raiding some of... They have some really forward production buildings. Here, this army comes in. This army will just get destroyed. Because you have Halb, you have Cataphract. This army should also get destroyed for the same reasons. Okay, great. Now what do? You outnumber them. You need to raid. You need to take these guys. You need to send them into this base. Ignore the ignore the castles. Don't lose all of your arbs to a castle. This is not what you want to raid. This is a stupid base. You need to hit the main eco because this happened. Now, I want you to notice something here. Probably, and I mean this is going really fast. Let's say 4 minutes ago, the enemy had 15 troops. Now they have 54. They outnumber you, and you haven't been reproducing your troops. That's because of all of these buildings. Every single one of these buildings started producing. Look at how many stables there are. Look at how many barracks there are. All these castles all started producing reinforcements, and that's why they were able to just get a huge army back up. If you had that many production buildings with the amount of, well, maybe not with the wood, because at this point, all of these villagers are actually stuck here because they were in here and you wall behind them. It won't be too hard to unstick them, but your wood economy is not great. But if it was a little bit better, and you had a couple more vills, you would be able to just dump 80 more trash units on the field that would counter this. I mean, yeah, one of these guys would kill a halberdier, but it's a halberdier. You've got plenty more, and this costs gold. The enemy has more gold, but they don't have an infinite amount, especially because they don't have a single relic, which means they have no passive income. Anyway, that I think is one of the bigger mistakes at this point, because now your army, you just cannot get enough army to deal with this. You see, they have a bit of a death ball here. If you could quickly mass 60 halbs, you could easily take this, and how do you mass 60 halbs? By giving a ton of stables. And now it's pretty much over, because your castles that you had this huge defensive line are basically useless. They're in your base. You're trickling in units because you just don't have the production to deal with this. Yeah, and you can see they barely even crested 100 villagers, but you barely even crested 60. Yeah, and then it's over. And you can see here, the enemy base, they were wide open. Look at this. There's eco here, there's eco here, all this farming eco. 20 cataphracts in here would have just caused all of this to go disarray. They've got woodcutters here. They've got gold miners here. Oh, down here I guess they don't really anything. They've got a bunch of idols here. More raiding, and this won't happen. And if we look over here, they still have 4,000 gold. And look at all that queued. This is kind of the last of the gold they have access to. This is pretty much the last gold on the map, because all of yours is gone. All of theirs is gone. This is all they have, and they have no relics because they just didn't grab this one for whatever reason. If you manage to hold on, defeat this wave, which you'd be able to do with huge waves of trash, then that's it. They can't build anything else, and I guarantee you their trash is not going to be as good as yours, or they won't be able to produce it as cheaply, which means you can outmass them. So, anyway, as always, I hope that was informative and interesting, and I'll see y'all next time.